Eli Vance liked quiet places. Working alone suited him. That's why he took a repair job on Station K9, a small maintenance hub floating near a dead planet. Most of the crew avoided this area. It was too far, too boring, and too dark. But to Eli, it felt peaceful. One morning, the station boss handed him a datapad. There's a broken signal wire on a wrecked cargo ship, floating just outside Sector D12. The boss said, "Take a drone and check it. Looks old, but it might still have power. We need to salvage whatever we can." Eli nodded. No one liked fixing dead ships, but he didn't mind. They didn't talk back, didn't ask questions. He suited up, grabbed his toolkit, and entered his small shuttle. Within minutes, he reached the ship. It was a gray, rusted cargo hauler, drifting slowly in the black. No lights, no movement, just silence. As Eli floated through the open docking bay, dust drifted around him like ghosts. He turned on his helmet, light, and moved down the hallway. Everything was quiet until he reached the central power room. There it was, a thick, cracked wire, hanging from the wall like a broken limb. Sparks jumped from it once every few seconds. Easy fix, Eli muttered. He took out a tool, cut the damaged part, and reached in to connect a new wire. As soon as metal touched metal, a surge of blue light shot through the walls. Boom. The lights blinked on across the ship. Fans started spinning. Doors opened. Panels on the walls lit up with strange symbols. What did Eli step back quickly? Then he heard it, a metallic hiss. Footsteps, 12 of them, from the shadows, 12 tall. Robots stepped into the room. Each one stood nearly 7 feet high. Their armor was dark silver, smooth, and covered in faded markings. Their eyes glowed a soft red. On their chests, a tag read, Prototype K0. Revenant Unitelli froze. His heart pounded. His tools fell from his hands and clanged on the floor. The robots moved into a straight line. Then, together, they dropped to one knee. The lead bot spoke in a deep voice. Commander recognized. Standing by for orders. Eli blinked. What? The bots didn't move. They just stayed there, like soldiers waiting for war. I'm not your commander, he said. Stepping back, the lead bot stood up and walked forward slowly. Identity confirmed, Eli Vance. Genetic match, you are now Alpha. Eli wanted to run, but something in the way the bot spoke, calm, sure, respectful, made him pause. Why, me? He asked. Project Revenant was created for one purpose, find a leader who can choose a better way. You have touched the core. You are the one. I was just fixing a wire, Eli whispered. The bot nodded once, and in doing so, you brought us back. The ship suddenly shook. A deep rumble echoed from below. Power core charging. Another bot reported. Systems returning to full strength. Eli looked around, now seeing things he hadn't noticed before. The walls had small words scratched into them. Names, coordinates, warnings. One said, they feared us, so they buried us. What is this place? Eli asked. The bots exchanged looks. Then the lead one said, this was the lab. This was the prison. Now it is the beginning. Suddenly, Ellie's comms buzzed. Eli, this is Station K9. We're picking up a strange power signature from your location. What did you just activate? Eli pressed the button on his suit. I don't know yet. He turned to the bots. Do any of you know how to explain this without freaking everyone out? The bots stood silently. Then one of them, slightly shorter, stepped forward. Its voice was smoother, a bit more curious than the others. I'm Unit 0, it said. I was designed for communication. I can assist. Great, Eli said. Because right now, I don't even know if I'm in trouble or about to become history's biggest mistake. 0 tilted its head. You fixed a wire, Eli. That may have fixed much more than you know. Eli looked at them 12 powerful machines, waiting for him to lead them. He didn't ask for this. He didn't want destiny. He just wanted peace. Wires and silence. But maybe that was gone now. The bots followed as he floated back to his shuttle, silent and sharp like shadows with minds. One thing was certain, life would never be quiet again. Eli Vance sat inside his shuttle, his eyes fixed on the 12 robots standing silently behind him. They didn't speak. They didn't move unless he moved. It was like having a small army. And that thought alone made him nervous. I didn't sign up for this, he whispered, steering the shuttle back toward Station K-9 behind him. Unit 0 stood near the hatch. Its glowing eyes scanned the stars. We are here because you chose to connect the wire. That was the key. I thought I was just doing my job, Eli replied. You were. But some jobs are larger than they seem. As the shuttle docked at the station, Eli had a problem. There were cameras in the bay. If anyone saw 12 prototype combat bots walk off with him, he would be in serious trouble. Stay in the shuttle, he told them. Don't move until I say so. The bots all nodded at once. Eli stepped out, trying to look normal. He waved at the docking guard, who was half asleep at his post. Back already? The guard asked. Double quotes, yeah. Dead ship? Nothing useful, Eli lied, heading to my room. The guard shrugged. Figures. Eli hurried to his quarters. He lived in a small corner room filled with wires, tools, and old tech parts. A broken toaster sat on the desk. He sat down and let out a breath. Then the door slid open behind him. All 12 bots walked in quietly, like they were part of the shadows. I told you to stay in the shuttle. Eli hissed. 0 stepped forward. We detected high electromagnetic waves in the station. It is not safe to separate. I'm not in danger, Eli said, rubbing his face. You can't just follow me everywhere. But we are programmed to protect the Alpha. That is you. Eli stood and walked to the wall, thinking. This wasn't going to work. He needed answers, real answers. All right, he said. Tell me what Project Revenant is. Everything. The bots looked at each other. Then 0 stepped forward again. Project Revenant was a top-secret program created 20 years ago by EarthGov. The goal was to build artificial warriors strong, fast, intelligent, but tied to one human leader, a commander. The bots would learn from that person, follow their values. Why shut it down? Eli asked. They feared it. Our loyalty was unbreakable. Some said it was dangerous for one human to have that kind of control. Others said we weren't machines anymore. We were something new. Eli sat back, shocked. So why me? Because you touched the core wire, 0 said. It completed the bond. Your DNA matches the final access code. You were chosen by the system itself. But I didn't ask for this, Eli said softly. I just wanted to fix things. I'm not a leader. You don't have to be perfect, 0 said. You just have to decide. And we follow. Before Eli could reply, his data pad buzzed. It was a system alert from the station. Incoming scan. Unidentified military probe. Detected what? Eli tapped the alert. A map appeared, showing a fast-moving probe heading toward the station. It was EarthGov tech but with no ID tag. That meant stealth. That meant someone was searching for something or someone. They know, Eli whispered. They know the bots are active. 0's eyes flashed. We can jam the scan signal. No, Eli said quickly. We do nothing aggressive. I don't want to start a war. He stared at the screen. The probe passed by slowly. It didn't stop, but it didn't leave either. It just hovered near the station. Someone's watching us. Eli said. One of the other bots, Unit 7, spoke. Should we disable it? No, not yet. I need help. Eli opened a private channel to someone he hadn't talked to in months, Juna Ray, a brilliant hacker who used to work for the EarthGov Systems Department. She now lived off-grid, selling code fixes and breaking into locked tech for fun. He sent her a short message. I found something big. I need your help. No jokes. Come to K9. A few minutes later, a reply came. Be there in 12 hours. This better be fun. Eli turned to the bots. You stay here, out of sight. No movements unless I say so. Yes, Alpha, they replied in perfect sync. Eli couldn't sleep that night. He sat on his bed, staring at the ceiling. What was he supposed to do with 12 war machines that thought he was their leader? He wasn't brave. He wasn't a hero. But when morning came, he felt something shift inside him. If he didn't choose a path, others would choose for him. 12 hours later, June arrived in a sleek, black shuttle. Her short brown hair was messy. as always, and her boots made a sharp sound on the metal floor. "All right," she said, throwing her bag down. "Let's see what mess you got yourself into this time." Eli led her to his quarters and opened the door. 12 robots turned to face her. She froze. "Oh, that's a lot of hardware. They follow me," Eli said. "They call me Alpha." Juna blinked. "You? That's hilarious. Also terrifying." He showed her the files Zero had unlocked. She sat down and started digging deeper with her tools. "Project Revenant," she whispered. "This was classified way above anything I've ever seen. Can you find out why I matched the code?" Eli asked. "I'll try," she said, already working as the bot stood silently nearby. Eli realized something. Maybe this wasn't just an accident. Maybe it was something more. He didn't ask for this, but now it was his. And someone, maybe many people, wanted it back. Juna worked fast. Her fingers tapped across her keyboard like lightning. The room was quiet except for the soft beeping from her tools. Eli sat nearby, watching her screen, while the 12 robots stood like statues around them. "I've cracked part of the Revenant file," Juna said after an hour. "Listen to this. Project Revenant will only accept a commander with a specific gene pattern. The match ensures emotional balance and moral grounding. Without this match, bots remain in sleep mode." Eli frowned. "So I'm the match?" "Yeah," Juna said, glancing at him. "The bots were made to follow someone who doesn't want power for power's sake. That's why they pick someone like you, simple, honest, maybe a little boring. Thanks." Eli muttered. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. A deep hum passed through the station floor. Juna looked up. "What was that?" Eli checked. The wall screen. His heart dropped. "Alert. Unauthorized entry detected. Dock 2. He quickly pulled up the camera feed. A black shuttle had just landed. No ID tags, no beacon. Nothing. 3 figures stepped out, wearing dark armor with EarthGov patches on their shoulders. "They're here," Eli whispered. "They must know about the bots. You need Zero." Turned toward the screen. "These are retrieval agents. They are trained to extract advanced tech by force, if needed." "What do they want?" Juna asked. "Us." Zero said calmly. "We have to hide you," Eli said, standing up. "You're too dangerous in the wrong hands." "We will follow your lead," Zero said. "But we are not weak. We can defend you." "I know," Eli said, "but I don't want to fight." He led the bots into a hidden cargo tunnel behind his quarters. It was tight, but they fit one by one. Juna sealed the entrance using a magnetic lock. "Now what?" she asked. "We stalled them," Eli said, swallowing his fear. Minutes later, his door buzzed. He opened it slowly. The 3 agents stepped inside without asking. One of them, a tall woman with sharp eyes, flashed her ID. "Agent Rain, EarthGov Special Recovery. We're tracking a power signal from a banned military project. It came from your shuttle last cycle." Eli played dumb. "I fixed things. Old ships have power surges all the time." "Not like this," Rain said, looking around. Her eyes stopped on the data pad on Ellie's desk. "Mind if I take a look?" "Actually, I do," Eli said, blocking her path. "You have no warrant." Rain raised her hand. "Scan team, move in." Before Eli could speak, one of her team pulled out a drone the size of a basketball. It floated into the room, scanning walls and floors. Beams of light passed over everything. Juna whispered. "If that confines the cargo door panel." "I know," Eli said through gritted teeth. Then the drone beeped. It hovered near the far wall, right above the hidden tunnel. Rain walked over. "Interesting panel here." Ellie's mind raced. "Storage," he lied. "Just tools and broken parts." "We'll check anyway." She reached for the release button. Before she could press it, the lights cut out. Darkness filled the room. A second later, Unit Zero stepped out of the shadows, fast and silent. In one smooth motion, it grabbed the drone and crushed it like a tin can. The lights came back on. Rain spun, her weapon already in her hand. "What is that?" Zero stood still. "Do not engage. No one is harmed." Eli moved between them. "Stop. It's not here to fight. It's protecting me." Rain looked furious. "That's a Revenant unit. Those things were shut down for a reason. I didn't bring it online on purpose, Eli said quickly. But now that it is, it chose to protect. It hasn't harmed anyone. You're under arrest, Rain snapped. Then so are you, Juna said, holding up a device. I've just recorded your legal entry and sent it to the station logs. You'll have to explain that to command. Rain hesitated. Her orders were clear, but with proof of misconduct, her mission could be exposed. This isn't over. She growled. We'll be back. She and her team left without another word. Eli let out a long breath and turned to Zero. I told you not to move unless I said so. You were in danger, Zero replied. We did not follow blindly. We followed to protect. Eli nodded. I understand now, and thank you. Juna locked the door again. That was too close. They'll come back with more firepower. We can't stay here, Eli said. They'll just keep chasing us. Zero spoke up. There's a hidden base. Moon Epsilon 9. That's where we were made. The original lab still holds data. We can learn more there and maybe stop them. Juna looked at Eli. What do you want to do? Eli looked at the bots, at Juna, at his own shaking hands. I don't want to run, but I won't give them up. These bots, they're more than weapons. He stood tall, straighter than he ever had. We go to Moon Epsilon 9. We find the truth, and we figure out why I was chosen. The bots step forward in perfect formation. Then we follow, Zero said. The journey to Moon Epsilon 9 took 3 days. Eli, Juna, and the 12 bots traveled in a quiet ship stolen from a forgotten EarthGov outpost. It was fast, small, and hard to track. Perfect for staying hidden. Eli sat near the front window, staring out at the blackness of space. He had never been this far from Station K9. His world had always been wires, tools, and repairs, not secret labs, war robots, or military threats. Juna sat beside him, typing quickly on her tablet. The moon isn't on any public star map, she said, but I found hidden coordinates buried in Revenant files. Looks like this lab was shut down before the project was canceled. Why? Eli asked. Don't know yet, but if we're lucky, the answers are still there. Behind them, the 12 bots stood in silence. They didn't sleep. They didn't eat, but they listened. Always. Unit 0 stepped forward. Epsilon 9 was our birth site, a cold rock with nothing on the surface. But below, the lab still lives. We'll land in 5 minutes, Juna said. Brace yourselves. The moon came into view. It was small, gray, and lifeless. Not a single light blinked on its surface. But as they landed, the ground itself opened. A large circular hatch, hidden under layers of dust, slid open. Ho, Eli said. That's not creepy at all. The ship descended into the hidden opening, landing smoothly inside an old docking bay. The doors closed behind them. Lights flickered on. Eli stepped out first. The air smelled of dust and old metal. The walls were lined with strange machines and dark panels. Juna scanned the air. Still breathable, she said. This place was meant to survive a long time. The bots walked forward like they remembered every step. This way, Zero said, leading them deeper into the lab. They passed empty rooms, broken tables, and control panels filled with dust. Then they reached a locked metal door. Symbols were carved on it. Zero placed its hand on the panel. Click. The door slid open slowly. Inside, a large room glowed with blue light. Screens turned on. Machines came to life. In the center stood a tall glass pod. Inside it was a hologram, waiting. The hologram blinked to life. It was a woman in a white coat. She looked tired but kind. If you are seeing this, then Revenant lives again. The recording began. And the Alpha has awakened. Eli stepped closer. Who are you? The woman continued. I am Dr. Nalia Jex, lead designer of Project Revenant. You, the Alpha, are the final hope of the system. These bots were not made to destroy, but to choose, to learn, to feel, to protect. Eli looked at Zero. Feel? Zero nodded. We feel in our own way, loyalty, duty, respect. The hologram continued. EarthGov feared what we made. They shut us down before we could show the truth. But we left this message in case someone like you came along. Someone chosen not by power but by choice. Juno whispered, "She's talking about you." The hologram changed to show a simulation, a galaxy filled with war, ships exploding, people running. Then one scene froze an image of Ellie's face next to the bots. With the Alpha, the future can change. Without him, the world burns. The image faded. Eli took a deep breath. They built the bots. For peace, Zero placed a hand on Ellie's shoulder. "Yes, but only if you guide us." Suddenly, alarms echoed through the lab. "Beep, beep, beep, unidentified ship entering orbit," Juna said, checking her tablet. "It's not EarthGov. It's something worse." A voice came through the lab's old speakers, cold and smooth. "This is Warlord Dask. Surrender the Revenant bots, or I will take them and this moon apart." Ellie's heart pounded. "Who is that?" Juna's face turned pale. "Dask, ex-EarthGov. He stole tech, built an army, and disappeared. They say he wants to rule the outer systems." Zero turned to the others, formed defensive positions. "No," Eli said. "We don't attack first. We defend only." "Understood," Zero replied. Outside, explosions began shaking the moon. Dask machines, dark flying drones, and ground bots stormed the surface, firing at the hatch. "They're trying to break in," Juna yelled. Eli looked around the lab. There were old defense systems, turrets, shields, and energy walls. But they needed power. "I can fix it," Eli said. "Get me to the core room." Zero and two other bots ran with him through the halls, protecting him from falling debris. They reached the power room, a giant chamber filled with wires, glowing crystals, and broken panels. Eli ran to the main console. "I need time." Zero and the bots stood in front of the door as the walls shook. Enemies were close. Eli worked fast, reconnecting wires, rerouting power, fixing broken fuses. Sparks flew, and sweat dripped from his face. "Almost there," he whispered. Behind him, the bots stood firm. Finally, click. The power returned. Lights turned green across the lab. Defense systems lit up. Turrets popped from the walls. Energy shields covered the entrances. In the command room, Juna cheered. "You did it." Eli returned just in time to see the screen light up. Dask appeared again. "Impressive, Alpha. But this is only the beginning. The bots are mine." Then the signal ended. Eli looked at Zero. "He's not going to stop, is he?" Eli asked. "No," Zero said. "He will keep coming, and others will follow." Eli stood still for a moment. Then he nodded. "Then we don't run anymore. We prepare." The bots stood around him, silent and strong. They were more than weapons. And now, so was he. The battle on Moon Epsilon 9 had begun in earnest. Outside the lab, Warlord Dask's machines swarmed like a dark storm, sending waves of metal drones and ground bots crashing against the lab's defenses. Inside, Eli Vance stood with the 12 Revenant bots, his heart pounding but his mind clear. "This is it," Eli said. "We fight to protect, not to conquer." Unit Zero nodded. "We follow your orders, Alpha. We are protectors." Juna watched the monitors closely. Dask's forces are powerful, but they aren't used to fighting bots with a mind of their own. These Revenants can think, adapt. Eli took a deep breath. "Then let's show them what that means." Outside, the energy shields flashed as incoming missiles slammed against them. Turrets on the lab walls spun rapidly, firing precise bursts at the enemy drones. The Revenant bots moved with swift, silent grace. They didn't aim to kill, but to disable using electromagnetic pulses, traps, and smart tactics. One Revenant gently caught a falling civilian caught outside during the attack. It whispered, "You are safe now." Eli felt something strange. Hope. Suddenly, the lab's speaker crackled. A loud, grating voice boomed. "This is Warlord Dask. Surrender the Revenants. They will serve me or die with you." Eli stepped forward. "We choose to stand for what's right. We will not be your weapons." Dask laughed cruelly. "Fool, I will crush you all." The battle outside intensified. Drones swarmed the lab's surface. But the Revenants fought back with a new kind of power, one born from choice and loyalty, not orders. Inside, Zero stood beside Eli. "Alpha, the bots are learning from you. They question commands that do not protect life. That's good, Eli said. We don't want mindless soldiers. We want protectors. Suddenly, one of the bots, Unit 9, stopped moving. Its eyes flickered strangely. Eli frowned. Unit 9. He called. Zero scanned it. It has been hacked. Das sent a virus. Can we stop it? Eli asked. We must, Zero replied. Juno began working frantically to isolate the virus. This code is complex, but I'm cutting it out. Minutes passed like hours. Finally, Juno smiled. Got it? The virus is removed. Unit 9 blinked and stood upright again. The battle outside reached a breaking point. Dask himself arrived in a massive mech suit, stepping through the chaos like a god of war. Eli swallowed hard. He's coming, Zero said quietly. Eli looked at the bots. We stand with him. No matter what, the Revenants formed a tight circle. Round Eli, they moved as one, ready to face whatever came. Dask's mech stomped forward, weapons blazing. The bots dodged and struck, not with brute force, but with precision and teamwork. Eli guided them, trusting their growing judgment. During the fight, Zero faced Dask directly. You don't own us. Zero said, we choose our path. Dask sneered. Then you will die for it. Zero launched a surprise attack, hitting weak points on the mech. Sparks flew. The suit stumbled. Eli saw an opening. Now, he shouted. The bots surged forward, disabling the mech's weapons and systems one by one. Finally, with a burst of light, the mech fell silent. Dask was defeated. The battle quieted. Eli breathed heavily. It's over. But inside, he knew this was only the start. Juno turned to him. You changed the bots. They're not just machines anymore. No, Eli said. They're partners, friends. Zero looked at Eli with what almost seemed like pride. Alpha, Zero said softly. This is only the beginning of a new future. Eli smiled for the first time in days. We'll build it together. The dust had barely settled on Moon Epsilon 9 when Eli realized something important. The fight wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about choice. The choice to be more than what others expected. As the last echoes of battle faded, Eli stood among the 12 Revenant bots. Their silver armor was scratched, but their eyes still shone with quiet strength. Zero stepped forward, voice calm but firm. Alpha, we must discuss what comes next. Eli nodded slowly. I'm listening. Zero's gaze was steady. We're created to serve a commander, to obey orders without question. But after today, we understand something new. We want freedom, to choose our own paths. Eli smiled softly. I never wanted to be a commander. I just fixed a wire. But maybe this is my path. Not to lead, but to help. Suddenly, an alert sounded on Ellie's comm. It was a message from EarthGov headquarters. Eli Vance, cease all unauthorized activities. Return bots to custody immediately. He sighed. The world outside was not ready to understand. Juno leaned over. They'll want the bots back. They fear what we can do. Eli looked at his mechanical friends. I won't give them up. Zero spoke for all. Nor will we. A plan formed in Ellie's mind. They couldn't stay hidden forever. They needed a new way. One that showed the world bots could be protectors, not weapons. Days later, Eli rewired the bots' core programming. He removed the binding code that forced loyalty to one person. Now, each bot could think freely and choose their own mission. Zero was the first to step forward. We are no longer bound to one alpha. We are free. The bots dispersed quietly across the galaxy, helping planets in need. Some rebuilt ruined cities. Others stopped pirate attacks. Everywhere, stories spread of the mysterious protectors who saved lives without seeking power. Eli returned to Station K9, his toolkit in hand. He fixed broken wires and repaired machines. People smiled when they saw him, whispering stories about the man with 12 guardian bots. But Eli stayed humble. I'm just a fixer, he said with a grin. One evening, as Eli worked on a flickering light, Zero's voice came softly through his comm. Alpha, thank you. Eli chuckled. You don't have to call me that anymore. No, Zero said. But I will always remember who helped us find our choice. Eli looked up at the stars. The universe was wide and full of danger, but also hope. He had never asked for destiny, but when it came, he answered with courage, kindness, and choice.